What if you could stop judging yourself? What would it allow you to accomplish that you currently cannot accomplish? How would it make you feel about yourself? And how would that affect your career, your relationships? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you one very powerful framework that I personally used to stop judging myself. And after I teach it to you, you'll be able to use it too. I'm Dr. Karthik Ramanan. And on this channel, I help ambitious individuals like you end self-criticism through tips and strategies to create optimal, everyday mental health. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Let's jump right into this one. The year was 2014, and I embarked on, to date, what might be the craziest personal challenge that I ever set for myself. And that was a 108-day juice fast. 108 days where I would consume nothing but liquids, fresh pressed green juices, but I also allowed myself things like kombucha, teas, and coconut water and that sort of thing. But to give you an idea, we were not going to have anything that was even fiber rich. It was going to be entirely, pressed juices was the goal. And why would I do such a thing? Well, I wanted to see what I was made of. Quite honestly, I wanted to see if that was something that I could do. I was in this phase of my life where I was discovering what I could be. I had lost, almost 100 pounds, and I was to a point where I really wanted to, again, just push the boundaries of my mind and see, is there anything further that I could do? Well, I want to let you know of certain elements of that juice fast that were challenging. And I bring this up for a reason. One was, to the majority of my life, I was relatively shy, very self-contained. I would not really let people into my head, into my world, even my closest friends. And when I went on this juice fast, I thought, you know what? I might as well learn how to share my story. And if you want tips on how to share your story, I have a video about that as well. So check that one out. But I started a blog, and that was really scary for me. But I was very driven to do it. So I had, 4 days between now and when I decided what was day one of my fast to get this blog up. So I had to learn WordPress, and I did all that. Also, another thing was I never enjoyed justifying any of my decisions in life to other people. And what I found was, naturally, when people find out you're doing a 108-day juice fast, it's like, why? So I wanted to make myself comfortable with sharing my thought process, my reasoning, again, my story. Another challenge was that it was the second quarter of my first year of medical school. I was still getting used to going back to school again. Remember, I was working in the finance industry in New York on Wall Street for 8 years. It was a very, very different type of challenge, a different type of environment. And to go from that to medical school, where, learning at that year was, the basic sciences in great detail, was challenging. And plus I had to also fight this little voice in my head that was saying, am I too old for this? I was 30 at the time. And I thought, going back to school at this point, could I learn at the rate that I needed to perform well? I was still dealing with some imposter syndrome, and that was a challenge. And in the middle of that, I decided to do 108 days of juice. And, I had final exams, including a 6-hour final exam that pretty much determined whether you're going to continue on or stay back for another year. So that was a challenge. That was a stressor. And again, I was questioning, could I do all of this? On the spring break, after that exam period, I traveled to northern Arizona with my sister. We had a great trip to Horseshoe Bend and Page, Arizona, and Antelope Canyon. Beautiful place. You should go there. And I was in the middle of my juice fast. It was not the easiest thing to do, to go up in the middle of nowhere, pretty much, and for hours on end. And what was I bringing? So I brought a crate of coconuts and some kombucha drinks because I didn't bring my juicer. There's no juice bars as far as I know. I scoped out a couple places in Flagstaff on the way, but I had to learn, how do you stay committed to any sort of challenge, personal challenge or dietary restriction or whatever you want to call it, while you're on the road, while you're traveling. I learned a whole lot, and I persevered through that. It was challenging. And the reason I bring all of that up is so that I can talk about on day 108 at night, I'm laying in my bed, 108 days, 3.5 months that I have been having juice. No food. I feel great, by the way. I mean, I just feel physically on top of the world, just the clearest mind. I had the best skin I've ever had. It was an eye-opening experience in so many ways, and I was just blown away by how great I felt. Yet, I'm laying in my bed, and a little voice goes, well, I mean, you did it, so it's not that big a deal. And I listened to that voice, and I just said, whatever. And I just let it go. I should have known that I hadn't addressed something deeper. But what happened was the next day, I was going to have my first meal, and it was grapes and watermelon. So I was getting together with my buddy, and he said, okay, why don't we meet up at my favorite restaurant, 24 Carats, here in Tempe, Arizona. And my buddy Garrett goes, okay, I'll see you there. So I get there. And little did I know, it was Memorial Day. They were supposed to be closed. I didn't know that. But I got there, I opened the door, and 20 to 30 of my classmates and friends were there to congratulate me. It was a surprise party, and I was just blown away. I had no idea that it mattered so much to people. I just thought it was just something I was doing for myself. And to have my friends and colleagues there to congratulate me at the finish line was just... it blew my world open, because I didn't think that I was worth that kind of attention, quite honestly. I didn't think I was worth that kind of attention. And all of a sudden, I was confronted with an alternate reality. I also got 2 full greeting cards from my classmates just congratulating me, and the word inspiring showed up in so many places. How is this possible? I didn't see myself as worthy of any accolades, this type of attention. And how could it be, if this is true on one hand, that this party here is happening? My reality did not equal their reality. It was abundantly clear. So it led me to the question, what is the truth then? What is the truth? Your reality about yourself, or others' reality about you? Let me ask you this, and here's the framework. What if the view that we have about ourselves is just that? It's a view. What if it was an opinion and not a fact? Just because I live in this body and mind, does that make it the truth? Or what if we looked at the people who love us, who encourage us, who are inspired by us, right? Who are motivated by the things that we say, that just see us unconditionally as the people that we can be, that see us for our potential, and we selectively adopt their view of us. Now, how would that change things? How would it change things if you adopted the view of yourself that somebody who unconditionally loves you sees you as? And you can be selective. Maybe it's person A sees you as inspiring, so you adopt that point of view about yourself. Maybe the other one sees you as very smart, and you take that. And another person that you're really close to sees you as attractive, so you incorporate that. But to them, that is their reality. You cannot convince them otherwise, right? Have you tried to convince a friend that didn't want your, accolades? Have you tried to convince them that they're, great, worthy, whatever you wanted to say? It's impossible. If somebody doesn't want to feel good about themselves, they will not feel good about themselves, and we do the same thing. So why not adopt the view of the people that admire us the most? So that is the framework. And let me tell you how that's worked out for me. Well, there was one friend who actually joined me for the last 14 days of that juice fast. And later, I was able to adopt a view from her that I am worthy of love and attention, like romantic love, that I'm attractive, That was something that I never felt. I always felt I was overweight and ugly, right? And unattractive. She felt otherwise. So eventually I married her. But the point is that wonderful woman, right, had a view of me that was so disconnected from my view of myself. And I had the question to ask, well, do I want to believe whatever I'm believing about myself? Is it helping me? No, it's not. Well, why don't I just accept her view of myself? We can become anything we want to be, right? So when we are sitting there judging ourselves, just recognize that if we consider it the truth about ourselves, somebody else considers something else the truth about ourselves. Why not adopt the good ones? Now, this can be used in a negative way as well. You know, when people hear the voices of haters, right? But they take that and they use that to justify their own self-criticism. We don't want that. Why not take the view of the people who love us the most unconditionally and adopt that as our own? That's what I have for you today. I invite you to be a little less self-critical today. I'm Dr. K. I'll see you in the next video. I believe in your greatness. Go be extraordinary this weekend.